Hi, I'm Catherine Pack, Senior Fellow and Deputy Director of the Australia Chair here at CSIS, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Pacific Policy Pulse. I'm joined here today by the Honourable Mr. Tony Abbott. He was the 28th Prime Minister of Australia. Thank you, Mr. Abbott, for joining us.
Thank you, Catherine.
So what are you doing in Washington this week?
I was here for the International Democracy Union, which is, if you like, the trade union for centre-right political parties around the world. It's always good to touch base with your fellow Liberal Conservatives, particularly at what is a challenging time in all of our polities. This is an era of fragmentation, of disruption and challenge, and always good to compare notes and resolve to do better.
Well, as you said, this is an era of immense challenges. As you think about the Indo-Pacific and the complex strategic environment there, what is the biggest challenge you see facing Australia today?
Well, pretty clearly, it's the dramatic drive by the Communist Party of China to make Communist China the global hegemon by 2049, the centenary of the communist takeover. Really, what we've seen from China over the last decade or so is the biggest peacetime military build-up in history. It's almost been hiding in plain sight. We've woken up to this very late, and even now, I think a lot of us in the democracies find it hard to grasp that a respectable country, which we tend to think of China as being, is as ruthlessly determined as it is to dominate first the East Asian region and ultimately the globe through a mixture of economic dependency and military strength.
So within that context, how should Australia, given its locality and its position, balance that complex relationship with China today?
Well, I don't say that it's easy, but in the end, we've got to put national security first. And in the end, we can't compromise our values and our principles just for the short-term pursuit of the dollar. I guess we are currently in the somewhat awkward and unprecedented situation of having our principal strategic challenge as also our major trading partner. I don't say that we should stop trading with Beijing. I do think that we should be careful about trade with Beijing, which is better for Beijing than it is for us. And I also think that we need to try to cut China out of all of our critical supply chains, because what we discovered in the period where China was arbitrarily boycotting some $20 billion of our exports is that China will weaponize trade if it suits its purpose. I mean, as far as the CCP is concerned, as far as Beijing is concerned, trade and investment are just politics by other means. They will use this in a ruthless, exploitation for their national advancement in a way that almost no other country will.
So with all the travel that you do these days, what book do you have currently in our carry-on?
I picked up two volumes while I was here in Washington. Kevin Rudd's given me his latest book on China. Kevin was my predecessor as Prime Minister. We're of opposite political persuasions, but Kevin is a genuine China expert, and I think he's doing a good job as our ambassador here in Washington. So I do look forward to browsing through his book. I'm also a senior fellow of the Danube Institute, and I picked up the Hungarian Conservative, and I'll browse through that on the flight back to Australia.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us on Pacific Policy Pulse.
Thank you.